What's going on, early rising everybody? I hope everybody is well. Let's get right into this video. So as you see by the title of this video, Rare Artists, I wanted to start a segment talking about and speaking about our rare black artists, some of them who never got the recognition that they should get. Though, yes, I speak a lot on the powers that be or who controls this stuff, I still praise their gift. Because without, their gift made us feel good at a point in time. And I think we forget that sometimes. And today's music is not good. Today's music really does not have any substance, meaning, storytelling, painting pictures, poetry, nothing with real feeling, nothing with real organic structure in it. You can tell it's not even written by black people anymore. And I believe that at this point in time, from the era of the 40s on down to the 70s and 80s, R&B was really organic. It was really there for soul, blues, the pain that black brothers would put in their music when they would speak, and the way they would sing to women with respect. That's what that music would take. That's what that time of music, takes me into. So this gentleman right here, Mr. Roy Redmond, I came across him because actually I'm going to be speaking on her in this video in a little bit, but I came across him because one of my other favorite singers, I'm, doing some digging on her, getting all information to do a video breakdown on her. I noticed I came across this album and his name was on it. So I was just going through the album one day, just listening, and I heard this song and I'm like, wow, I like this song. It puts me in the mind of, the twist era, the doo-wop era, the where you was just dancing in the middle of the dance floor era, free, that type of music. And I fell in love with it. And if you're going to be on this channel, this is something I am going to be showing you guys. I like this type of music. Though, like I said, I'm never going to take away their gift. The 50s music, that's what we come from. That's what the black brothers, what do you think that people are still sampling today? It's only passed down through generation after generation. Black brothers like this, Mr. Roy Redmond, they're gifted. You can tell these brothers were raised around the church. And when I mean church, I'm talking about vocally. I'm not talking about, the politics and the things of that church. I'm just talking about vocally, singing. Because singing made black people feel good at a point in time. Correct? So let's remember, again, people, where real R&B came from. Yes, let's always remember that. Yeah, so I just fell in love with his voice, so I started doing one. I just wanted to know more about him. It's nothing wrong with wanting to know more about somebody who is as talented as this man. They work for people, like I say, who don't have their best interests. So you would think a little more information would be out here about him. But no, when I started doing some research on him, there's literally little to no info out here about him. And I want to get into an article right now. The source that I've gotten this article from is forcedexposure.com. Let's read. Very little is known about Roy Redmond besides the fact that he recorded 4 songs and 2 singles in 1967 for Loma Records. And that's where, like I said, one of my favorite singers that I was doing some digging on was a part of the label. So they were label mates. So I got into, like I said, when I started doing more digging on them, this was all that I was able to find. I went and did a little bit of ancestry on him, like on some of the free websites. And I didn't just want to assume that those were him, but it's one that I feel like, okay, it's close, it might be, but I still have to do a little bit more research in order to before I just jump and say, oh my gosh, this is him. So, but it's really not a lot of photos of him. And I'm just interested because he made good music. He has a very powerful, soulful voice, which we're going to get into. And I know there has to be some more footage or more things, photos, music in the vault somewhere. The elites, the powers that be, and even people, producers and stuff that were around them that's living at this time. I know that they probably still have a lot of these things. It's ways to get on a hold of these recordings that they have. Trust me. Technology, it's a thing, but it was working back then. They might want to let us think that it wasn't working as good as it was, but they had ways. Trust me. Look at how much stuff we still have today. So you know that technology has been on its way for many, 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 many decades. Loma Records. Loma Records was an American subsidiary record label of Warner Brother Records managed by Bob Kransnow, then later Russ Reagan. The record label, to me, it seemed like it was very short-lived. And from some other things that I saw, which I'm going to include because I want to do it, like I said, I want to do a deeper breakdown on him, but because I have to go and at least try to do a little bit more of a harder research. I know I can find some more things somewhere. But yeah, I don't think this record label was really had a lot of time on its hands. And you see some other artists in this right here were a part of it, which I'm going to get into as well. But for now, let's get into his music. He's known for 4 songs. And when I heard those first 4 songs that I heard by him, I was amazed because his voice immediately, and I'm not doing like a versus or a comparison, but it did put me in the mind because, like I said, brothers like this at this time, you really had to sing. And I mean sing. You had to be a vocalist. You had to have some type of power, grit behind your voice. And it put me in the mind of Mr. Otis Redding. I have a video coming on our brother Otis Redding because, woo, the rabbit hole goes really deep. But speaking of gifts, this brother had a voice on him. He had a pen game on him. He was a mover and a shaker in that R&B industry, that blues, that soul industry at that time. He surely was. And he was very young. And that's another thing I want to say, I want to get into. What I do appreciate about that time in music was the respect and the good love they promoted. Remember when there was a time when black men, you could put on dress clothes and wear that anywhere. You didn't have to always put on street gear or name brand things. It was okay to dress down. I like those type of brothers a lot. The brothers of that time, you could tell they were groomed properly. They were raised properly. A lot of us came from that type of families who were raised right and had men who had a steady foundation, but we kind of, swiveled and swerved a little bit. But it's our duty to, not to to pick that back up. That's why I'm using these photos, because look at how they're dressed. You could tell. And like I said, everybody's not perfect, but y'all know what I'm saying. The era of respect for yourself, look at how they're just sitting next to each other, smiling. His brother's right beside him. Wasn't a lot of beef. Yes, that stuff was there, but if you had an issue with your brother, I'm sure you could talk it out. That's what I was raised to do. Talk it out with your brother. That's why I'm using these, again, vintage photos. I'm as you see, my people, I'm a really old soul. I really am. I appreciate a lot of eras that our black people came from. So we got to remember to start appreciating our elders, even in the entertainment, okay? Because the powers that be, remember, that's their field. That's their control. So I'm going to push Mr. Roy Redmond's name out there. Another thing that 50s and 60s music, black music, that era of music puts me in the mind of marriage. And marriage to me, in our generation, millennials, is not appreciated anymore. I think we're taking a lot of things like love with the next being, human affection, spiritual touch. We're taking that for granted. And I wanted to use these photos because look how look how the passion and the love, look at this woman's eyes. Her dimple is coming out. She looking up at this man like, oh, I just married my soulmate. Marriage had a different meaning at that time. It was commitment. They didn't have social media. It wasn't, everybody goes through things, yes, but I'm not inside of no one's marriage. But I'm talking about at least the presentation was, even if we're going through something, you don't need to know about it because this was between me and mine. Okay? We have to remember that. We didn't come from, oh, let's tell it all. Or let's jump, people don't even have respect for someone's marriage anymore. We have to start learning how to love again. We want to jump into these relationships. Me personally, I'm 27. I've been in relationships before, only 2 serious ones, but I'm too young. I still have a lot of maturing to do. I need to grow alone before I can grow with the next man. I can grow with anyone. You have to love yourself first. And I do love myself, but I still want to work on a lot of things in order to be able to feel like I can love someone 100%. I want to come 100%. And it's not, and I'm not a depressed being. No, but it's just certain things, about we men when we're in our 20s that we need to work on. And men of the 60s, they were working men. They were providing for their families. They showed you, okay, this is how you do it. Let's get married. Let's have a family. Let's raise these kids and let them do the beautiful things that they're going to do. There was a time when black men, not a time, because there's still a lot of black men today who can marry a woman and treat her with respect. That's what Otis Redding, Roy Redmond music would do if we're talking about music right now. It made you, okay, yeah, I'm listening to something that's telling me to respect my woman, not disrespect her, not call her out her name, not leave her at home with 4 and 5 kids. And even with women like Linda Jones, who I'm going to get into, she taught you how to love a man, how to make a man feel good. And it's not just about being submissive. It's about, okay, if this is my husband, I know how to love him. We're going to make this work. All right. So let's remember, my people, there was a time in music where music had some substance, and it put you all in the mindset of good black brothers, black sisters, marriage, love making, all the beautiful things that we black spiritual beings can do when we connect with the next soul, with the next black soul. We're connecting. Once you meet somebody and you lock eyes and you exchange vows, remember, that's a lifelong connection, and you need to make it worthwhile. So if we want to jump in these marriages and these relationships, let's remember how it was done at a point in time. Remember how happy marriage was, okay? Because there's always something to go back to remember the root that we black people came from. We didn't only come from slavery. No, that's not our history. Remember who we are, okay? And you know how to love. Now that you know that that's what music represented, our real R&B represented at a time, Roy Redmond and Otis Redding, their music is similar to me. And their voices especially is similar to me. It came from that same soul era. So I want to just play a little bit of live from Mr. Otis Redding to show you how powerful his vocals were, how powerful his stage presence was. Because that brother, I never paid attention. I've always liked his music, but I never paid attention until recently when I was, doing this about upon his stage presence. I'm like, wow, it's really strong. And he could just stand there and sing. So yes, let's take a look at this.
One more time now, just like do it just one more time, one more. With you, man, life has been so wonderful. I can't stop now. Is growing cold. My love is growing stronger as our affair grows old. Ooh, I'm loving you too long, and I don't want to stop now. No.
That's a bad singing brother. Mr. Otis Redding's vocals, when he started to go up, can't you hear like the grit, the hard growls that he was doing? And it takes a lot of power and control to be able to stand there, move his head like that, and to be able to project that voice. These brothers had some real good vocal training, or even if they weren't technically trained by like a vocal coach, you can tell they studied the voice. They studied and made sure they mastered their craft. If you gon' sing, and you know, that's why I say these brothers had respect for the craft at that time, because they knew, okay, if I'ma sing to my people, I'm gonna sing. If I want to sing to these women, I'm gonna sing to them. I'm gonna make them feel good. I'm gonna make them feel this. And when I heard Mr. Roy Redmond's voice, those growls and gritty sounds that he would do with his voice, it put me in the mind of Otis Redding. So yes, again, as you see, another old oldie but goodie. Let's get into Mr. Roy Redmond's music. The first song I want to get into is Ain't That Terrible. That is a jam to me. Again, it's a whole like doo-wop, sock hop type of feel. Puts you in the dancing mood of the 1950s and 60s when they would just go to the sock hops, dance, go on dates, or little diners that they would go smoke cigars, have a drink, just relax. So yes, let's listen to this. This is Ain't That Terrible by Mr. Roy Redmond. And I love the way songs were written and sang in that time as well. Like the words that they would use. It was just very creative at the time. I don't know if these were African Americans who wrote these things for Mr. Roy Redmond. That's why I want to go do some more digging, because it's very interesting how they said he disappeared mysteriously. Good Day Sunshine, Roy Redmond, Man of Mystery. It would appear that Roy Redmond recorded 245s both on Loma and Warner Brothers subsidiary, and then mysteriously nothing more. As you see, Roy Redmond inspired and soulful take on Good Day Sunshine from the Beatles. Yes, that was originally recorded and written, I believe, by the Beatles.
Good day, sunshine. Good day, sunshine. Good day, sunshine.
And that was just a little snippet of the original cover by the Beatles. But yes, back to this article. They said he mysteriously disappeared, and I've noticed, like I said, the people who run this industry, the elites, they, it's a lot of miscellaneous artists that's just hidden in the background. And I would just like to know, like, do they have more music? Like, what went on with them? They pushed this in our face. We've praised it. So it's only right that, we can praise some more of at least their gift, not the, like I said, I'm not making this a powers that be type of video, but y'all understand what I'm saying. So, wrapping this part up, I'm not going to play another song by him just yet. I want to get into a group he was label mates with, which is a group by the name of Ike and Tina Turner. Another deep rabbit hole that I will be breaking down soon. Yes, just, bear with me, people, again. But yeah, I want to get into it. I like the song Proud Mary by Tina Turner, which Ike, she used to perform it with Ike. And then, they went through whatever turbulence and things that they went through. That ended, so she started performing it by herself. I believe she's very, very talented because she can turn this song out. So, and I like the old school version of this song. So let's get into that right now. Here's Proud Mary, a little bit of the live version of Proud Mary with Ike and Tina Turner.
Big wheel keep on turning. Proud Mary keep on burning. And we're rolling.
One thing I love about the 50s and the 60s singers, they really took time, and with their background vocalists, they chose singers who really would carry the tune and the harmony for the backgrounds. Not too overpowering, but though these are still powerful singers, yes, but they knew what they were doing. And I love a subtle background where it's just right for the ear. It's not too overpowering to the ear, but it's just subtle enough so where we can hear it and enjoy the pleasure of it. And who y'all hear in the background is the Ikeettes. Those were Ike and Tina Turner's background singers. Just wanted to throw a little picture in there for that as well. Let's get back into the performance.
2, 3. After a good job in the city, working for me every night and day. I never lost 1 minute sleeping, worried about the way things might have been. Big wheel keep on turning, turning. Proud Mary keep on burning, burning, rolling, rolling, rolling on the river. Rolling, rolling, rolling on the river.
Yes, man, Tina Turner, she could turn the show out. Like, that's a very gifted, very, very, very gifted black woman who could just stand on stage and perform her butt off, sing with them very powerful vocals. Many people, they know her from her stage presence, those dance moves, though the physicality of her, but her vocals for that time, they were very powerful. And that, to me, that was a mixture of genres. Though music is music, yes, but the genre that she was singing, it was very different from R&B at that time. Though it was still R&B, yes, because it was very soulful and blues like. It was still a little bit of rock out here and there. The guitars, the instruments, the trumpets, the instrumentation of just the whole track is very dope. So yes, I wanted to show that was his label mates. And also where I want to do a little bit of vocal comparison is with Otis Redding and Mr. Roy Redmond, is the grit behind the Soulful Brothers, that the way they used to sing, because it takes a lot of technique, control, vocal training. And a lot of these brothers, they did come from church, but a lot of them, they were self-teaching. They were listening to other singers on the radio at home, and you just watch some of their interviews and they'll let you know how they came about learning how to sing and realizing that they had a gift. So yes, it takes a lot, and that's why I'm a fan of real singing again, because the way they were able to do it and convey it is just very, it shows you they took pride in their gift. It wasn't no joke to them. So I want to show you this clip that I showed before of Otis Redding performing Try a Little Tenderness with the grit, how I think that their voices with their grit and their growls are very similar. You heard the power, the grit, the control, the passion behind his voice when he said, try a little tenderness. Now listen to Mr. Roy Redmond and the phrase that he says with his growl. It sounds so similar to me. Yeah, they both have so much power and grit, like I keep saying, behind their voice. I just love it. And yeah, you heard, I think y'all could hear the little similarities and little inflections between their voice. Let's take a listen to the next song by Mr. Roy Redmond called Good Day Sunshine. Again, originally written by Mr. Paul McCartney.
Oh yeah. Shucks.
Good day, sunshine.
Look at that sun.
Good day, sunshine.
Oh, sing it to me, girl.
Good day, sunshine.
His rendition of the song is very soulful, again, very powerful. I love it. He took that song and turned it into his own. And that was a time, it did seem like the labels, at least they were allowing them to sing one another's songs. And we know, like I said, it's controlled by them. But at least he got to do it. At least, and if you gonna sing somebody else's song, make it your own. Make it so. I like how the black people of that industry at that time, they would take one of their songs, because they always taking ours, right? But that's another rabbit hole. But they would take their songs and you wouldn't even know that it's originally written by someone else, because now it's so soulful. It makes you think that we created it. Excuse me. That's how powerful and gifted we are. People know that. Now I want to get into someone else, not someone else, who was a group those were his label mates at the time, called the Marvellos. Another group of men who are very gifted vocalists, takes you right to church, right to, again, that marriage feeling, that love making feeling, the feeling of, okay, this is how I want a woman to know I feel about her. So I want to get into one of their songs right now by the name of In the Morning. Very soulful song. It's so beautiful. So people, go, I'm putting these things in here because I've done a little bit of digging. I will be doing a video on these fellas as well, because it's not a lot of info about them as well. Not a lot of music around for them when I looked them up. So yes, go check these people out if you're really interested in seeing where a lot of this music, a lot of things that were sampled, that today, this is where, again, that music comes from. So go check this song out, and here it is, In the Morning.
When the morning comes, darling, I know just how good you feel. In the morning, let's change our weary night to a midday thrill. Whatever it's gonna be alright when the morning comes.
In the Morning by the mighty Marvellos. Yes. One thing I like about that song is the bass baritone that was in the background. You notice how a lot of doo-wop era singers and songwriters and lyricists, many people of that era, they always included that in the writing and within the singing, because it complemented the higher voices. I noticed that it always seems to balance out. Another group that I noticed did that, I guess I got a video coming on them, but again, their gift, the Clark sisters. The sister Jackie, she held down, and Twinkie as well, they used to hold down that bottom note, that bottom tone, and while the other sisters will be in the soprano, in the lyric soprano, it really balances everything out. The melody, it blends beautifully. So yes, that was In the Morning. Now let's get into another song by them by the name of I Do.
I love you with all of my heart. I do now, yes I do. Do I want you to stay by my side? I do now, yes I do. Do I want you to be my bride? I do now, yeah, I do. I love you, my baby, yeah.
I Do by the mighty Marvellos puts you right in the mind of the doo-wop swing era, puts you in the feel of the Chantels, the Cadillacs, and the Shirelles. Go check out these groups, y'all. They make really good, feel-good music. So let's get into another song by Mr. Roy Redmond.
Let bygones be bygones, 'cause this loneliness has gone on much too long. Listen, girl,
And that right there was Old Time Feeling by Mr. Roy Redmond. Another good song. Go check it out in full. My people, the next artist that I want to get into, I love this woman. I found this woman in 2019. And when I heard her voice, I was just mesmerized. So let's get into her for a second. Her name is Miss Linda Jones. Her voice is very different to me. It's very is high, but it's not, to me, it's not your typical voice. And she could do a lot with her voice. I love when I hear her live recordings, the little bit that's out here. There's not a lot of info on her, but the little that I have found, yes, I'm going to be breaking that down because our sister was a part of that industry. And I'm going to just leave it right there for right now because she got a separate video coming. But as far as her gift, man, she could do some things with her voice, and she really sang with passion. I want to get into the first song that made me a fan of her singing. And here it is. This is Hypnotized by Miss Linda Jones.
You got me hypnotized. All it took was just one little look into your eyes. I'll do whatever you say. Command me and I'll obey. La la la, ha ha. You got me walking and talking in a trance, in a magic spell of romance. Make me hug you, make me kiss you. My heart is yours to command and hypnotize.
And that right there was Hypnotized by Miss Linda Jones. Man, oh man. Y'all, the way she sang that with such passion, you could tell. And when I went and did a little bit of digging, I found a video, and the gentleman who wrote and composed the song said she did that song in one take. That right there, what I just played, they said that was just straight out. She looked at the lyrics and just started singing. That's what you call a gift, my people, when you don't even need to know how to, oh, okay, somebody didn't have to lay it down for her. She went in there. That's called soul singing. It came from her soul. It's blues. It makes you feel, right? That's what the blues does, okay? This is real R&B, my people. This is what, if you want to talk about music, this is the music right here, okay? Miss Linda Jones, rest in peace to her. Man, oh man, I got a good video dedicated to her. I can't wait for y'all to see it. And I want to get into another song. I'm not going to ramble too much in this one. Another song by her, she did a cover of a song called I Who Have Nothing. It was brought to the world first by the artist Ben E. King. I'm not going to say what I was going to say. I'm not going to say it, but anywho, yes, I just wanted to show a quick picture of Mr. Ben E. King. And now let's get into the song. And it's actually, I just went into, I'm not digging this information out here on this. It's actually an Italian song. I thought he was the originator. I always had knew that he was the first one. I guess the first American one to bring it to the world. But I do want to show y'all who it was written by. Look at some numerology for me. When was this song released from Mr. Ben E. King? June of what? 1963. Whew, baby. Y'all see they leave their markings on our black artists, correct? And look at who has written this song. Jerry Leiber and Mike Stoller. And who are those two men born to? Jewish families. I brought it right here. So you saw how I said, you heard how I said they leave their markings on our black artists. Our black artists, a lot of their stuff was written by the Jews. Yes, I didn't want to believe that at first, but it was. And the ones who say they're writing it, it's not true. But that's another rabbit hole right there. Ain't ready to get into that. I just wanted to come show y'all that, I hate how they have to get marked in order to show the world their gift. I wish we made local things a thing again. I do. But again, another topic for another day. Here it is. I Who Have Nothing, covered and sang by Miss Linda Jones.
I who have nothing, I who have no one. Oh, no, you can't watch you so. I'm just a lonely girl with nothing to give you but
She cut that record with such passion, y'all. You could tell she meant and hit every note the way she needed to. And I want to say something I appreciate about old records like this. You really can hear what's in the background. You can tell the equipment has really upgraded, and reverb wasn't really a thing like that. Auto-tune wasn't really a thing at that time, because you if you really pay attention, you hear every breath they take. Sometimes in pop culture recordings, they edit that stuff out and all of that, but I like hearing it. It's natural, and it makes the record, it makes you feel it more to me. So yes, that was I Who Have Nothing. I hope y'all enjoyed that one. That's a really good song, and it really, because I've been there. I've been in that place before. You looking at somebody like, oh dang, you gonna go be with that person now, I just gotta watch it. But you get up and you move on. That's how life goes. So I want to get into the next song by Miss Linda Jones. Your Precious Love. Very yearning type of, I need you type of love. The way she sang it, again, such passion is there. You can hear the yearning in the voice. So let's get into it right now. Your Precious Love.
precious love.
I know my people, that's a lot of old school singing. Some people, I guess they're not into it, but it's beautiful singing. It is. Her riffs, did y'all pay attention to that? Her riffs and her runs when she would go up, man, she was really an R&B singer. She really studied. You can tell she came from the church, born and raised in Newark, New Jersey. We know a lot of singers are from there. So Newark, New Jersey has to have a deeper rabbit hole. But that was the last song I wanted to play by Miss Linda Jones. Again, rest in peace to Miss Linda Jones. Now let's get into the final song by Mr. Roy Redmond. And that song is called A Change Is Gonna Come. Originally written and recorded by the artist, as we know, Sam Cooke.
In a little tent, oh, and just like the river I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but come.
Change is Gonna Come by Mr. Sam Cooke. Another rabbit hole for another day as well. And here is A Change Is Gonna Come by Mr. Roy Redmond. The gritty, the even more soulful, deeper version of A Change Is Gonna Come. Here it is.
I was born by the river in a little tent, just like the river I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know the change gon' come. Oh yes it is. It's been too hard living, and I'm afraid to die. I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know the change gon' come. Oh yes it is.
And there you have it. That was A Change Is Gonna Come, Mr. Roy Redmond's rendition. That song is a rabbit hole in itself, and it lets me know too, they had a lot of artists recording the same song, and it lets me know certain things. But I really hope y'all enjoyed. This is a video. I have other videos like this coming. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Little different, again, spicing up the channel. Don't want it to get boring and talking about blood all the time. But, just looking at, certain artists who they never got pushed to the forefront and are, just in the background, but they have good music, good music. So that's what I wanted to bring. This is Mr. Roy Redmond. I will be doing a part 2 on him because, again, I'm going to try my best, and I know I can, to find some information, to find out where he is, what he's been up to, his other recordings, his other photos. I know it has to be other photos out here. So, again, thank you, my people. I hope y'all have a lovely evening. And, again, till the next rising.